Hello again, everybody. Boyd back with you. I'm glad to be back here today. We've got another parts pack update on our Fanhome 1966 Batmobile. This is the beautiful 1/8 scale model, and we just got another part shipment in, so I'm going to get you guys all caught up, and we're going to do some more building today. I'm really excited. Nice to see that a couple of you guys have subscribed to this and are going to be building along with us. That's always a cool thing. So let's go ahead and get started, you guys. You can see we've got our magazine here, number 3. Again, these are going to be collector's items in themselves after you're all said and done, you guys. If you're a Batman fan, this is just phenomenal stuff. I was never really a huge fan of the show when it was originally on. I was pretty young, but I did watch it in reruns in the 70s and just got totally glued to it like everybody else. Just thought it was a really cool and unique show, and it wasn't on long enough. I wish it would have had more episodes, but we all think that. But you've got the Penguin here. Burgess Meredith made his career off of that character, and he's just phenomenal. Picture of the Batmobile pulling into the Batcave. Again, just fantastic backstory on all the Batmobile stuff. Going back to the original comic, you can see it cost 10 cents when it came out. May of 1939. That's just so cool. Just shows you how long-lasting and popular the Batman character is. It's just a natural, national icon, I guess you could say, all around the world, actually. So, again, you'll want to hang on to these. So, you can see here that as we move into what we're going to be building today, we've got our, I call it the roll bar up on top, but you could call it the light bar. Has the famous bat turn lever, the bat beacon on the top, some other detail parts that go along with that. So we're going to start putting that together. There's an LED that goes in there because the beacon on the top is lighted. So we're going to make sure we follow all the steps here. You can see you've got your list of the parts in picture form and along with their actual part number. Once you open up your parts pack, you want to make sure and verify that all these parts are there. I understand that Fanhome is really good at replacing parts if they're missing, but hardly anybody's having that problem. So again, I'm going to bring in the parts here, and you want to be extremely careful when you remove the blister off the top of this. Like I keep mentioning, you guys, if this happens to catapult or flop or whatever, you're going to throw these parts all over the place. And as you can see, some of them are really tiny. Now, normally everything just lifts out of these trays and you put it straight on the model. No modification to the parts required. Well, in this particular round, I read ahead a little bit, and we've got these little tiny lenses that go in these little retainers here. And I'm going to take one out of the package here and show it to you. They're on these little sprues or molding assemblies here, and we've got to clip these off. So you can either lay these down flat on something, make sure you keep your finger on both the part and this, and cut it with a hobby knife, or we're going to cut it off carefully here with these specialty parts cuttings. They call this a sprue cutter. And so we're going to make sure we cut those off nice and clean. So I'm going to start off by doing that first, and I want to make sure I keep my hand on the part so it doesn't go shooting across the room or something crazy like that. Okay, and then we can throw away that sprue when we're done. We're going to do that with each of these. It looks like there's a total of, let's see, 4 of them. Okay, so we'll get this taken care of first. All right. And then we've got these little cups that they sit in, which looks like it's these little chrome guys right here. And again, they are on a sprue as well. So we'll go ahead and get those cut loose. You won't be doing this very often with any of these models, you guys. This was just kind of a unique thing here. This is the first time I've actually seen that on any of the models I've been working on. You want to try to cut these as close to the part as you can so you don't have any excess, like a burr on there or an excess piece of plastic sticking out. Just going to check them out and make sure we got them nice and close. Okay, they look good. This one here has a little bit sticking out on the bottom. I'm going to clip that off. Okay, those look nice. Now you want to be careful not to bump this, or I'm going to make sure I put my parts well out of arm's reach so I don't accidentally knock that around. So we're ready to assemble this now, you guys. Now these just, they're calling for you to just stick them straight in. And they're going to kind of sit there for a second. Yeah, it looks like they fit in there just a, well, they actually do kind of tighten up once you get them all the way down in there. Okay, just wanted to make sure they weren't going to sit. Yeah, they sit in there kind of loose. So be careful they don't come back apart when you, before we move on to the next step here, we're going to secure these right away onto the light bar or the roll bar. Small and fiddly to work with. Okay, now we're going to bring in the roll bar itself. I want to make sure we're working with the right parts here. As you can see, here's our roll bar. This is, this might actually be metal, you guys. This is really nice. You can see it's got the decal on there. Emergency bat turn lever. How cool is that, you guys? Looks just like the one on the TV show. This is a really healthy and sturdy part. Okay, so we are putting these on in this little slot right here, it looks like. Make sure I'm using the right part here. Yep, that's the inner. We want the outer. So let's orient it the correct position here. And we are going to install these. Looks like they just kind of sit side by side. This might be a little difficult, you guys. We got to sit them in there just right. And there's a bracket that's going to go over the top that holds them all in place. Yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting here. There's not much of a slot for them to sit in. Okay, got that pretty well flush. You want to make sure they're nice and flush sitting in there. They're all the same, so it doesn't matter where you put them. Whoopsie, just like that. Got to be really careful with these. I had some caffeine earlier, you guys, so my hands are a little bit shaky this morning. Okay, I can see I'm backwards on this one now. We got these go on the side that has the recess in it. Okay, there we go. Let's get this one in its slot and see if we can get it there before we lose it again. Again, I'm sure many of you out there have steadier hands than mine. As we get older, this starts to happen. As a modeler, it's never a good thing, but you just kind of learn how to control it and be careful. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're bringing in this bracket. The bracket is part O3P, so I can see it right here. I'm going to grab it with my tweezers. All right, and it just goes just like this. Get that down on there without knocking our little guys out of place there. Just kind of pops in place. It's not quite flat though. I want to make sure I get it. Maybe it goes the other way around here. It may have one direction or another. Yeah, it looks like the bracket if you look at it close, guys, it has a longer ear on one side than the other, so I think I'm going to have to turn it around here and put it back in. Didn't want to go in there all the way flush. Okay, so let's try it like this. And there it goes. Perfect. Kind of snaps into place. Now they're calling for some ACM screws. So let's take a look at our screws. These actually look like they have a, yeah, these are right here. They have a washer on them, and they're really, really short. And it looks like they give you one extra one. So we'll check this out with our screwdriver and see which, if our small one or our big one fits it best. Okay, we're good there. We'll drive this in. Okay, now we've got our little reflectors. That is beautiful, you guys. They're a beautiful transparent red, like a real light lens. That already added some really nice detail onto that. Okay, so let's take a look at what's next. We've got our beacon, so we're going to bring that in. And it looks like it has a, what do we have here? We have a little part that goes inside of it. O3H. Okay, that's an inner clear red part. You can see there. Cool. Very nice. We put this on first. Fits in there nice and tight. And then we push this up in afterwards. And then we've got our LED, which goes up inside. Okay, we've got our little LED bracket they're calling for now. That, which is this little chrome plated part you can see right here. Okay, I want to set these screws over here. We've got some more screws that we're going to be using. Get rid of this. Okay, now we're taking, this sits upside down like this. Our LED presses into this. Okay, everybody, we're back now, and we're going to be putting our, finishing up some assembly, actually installing our little LED inside of the bat beacon here. And I've jumped ahead a little bit. Now this lens just goes up in here and sits for now. I've put these little bat wing things on in this little detail here. I'm going to show you on the instructions. What I'm going to mention about that, you guys, is that it uses these super tiny screws. Let me see, they were the, what were they called here? The NP screws, and the regular screwdriver that comes with the, even that comes with the kit here, it's way too big. You're going to have to actually find a specialty mini, super mini Phillips tip screwdriver. Even these that I have here are way too big. I tried to use this little miniature one here, and it's even too big. So I managed to get them in there, but it was very difficult. I almost was stripping these because it was too large. And this plastic that these are made of is really hard, so it's hard to get them even started. So that's one thing that they maybe should mention in the instructions here, that you're going to have to use a specialty screwdriver to do that. But anyway, I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. I went ahead and got that started and got those put in place. And then you've got these little lenses that go on the top, but we'll show you that on the instructions. So now we've got to put this LED in. So you've got this little bracket that we pulled out, and it goes just like this. It drops in, and that helps hold the beacon and everything in there. Then you've got your LED. You can see it sits in a little socket there. Okay, it just presses in. Now there is a, they want you to thread this through here first. Make sure I'm in camera for you guys. And then it has a sort of a little trench that sits in, which is not very deep. Kind of sort of like that. Make sure our bat lever is straight. Okay, well, that's how it works, guys. Okay, so now we've got to attach this with the, they're going for these same AM screws. Okay, so let's get these going. Yep, okay. Might be hearing some people in the background. Our neighbor across the street are having a yard sale. I may walk over there later today and see what they've got going on. You never know. I picked up a couple of really rare vintage Star Trek model kits at one of those rummage sales that I would have never expected to be there. Looked like it was mostly clothes and stuff, and there were a couple boxes there at the end, and I started digging in there and found some really old AMT Star Trek kits. They were in good condition too. Okay, and then we got one in the center. And we are just about done with this stage, you guys. Oh, it went pretty well. Just for that little screwdriver issue. Again, I double-checked the literature there, and I didn't see any mention of the need for a special screwdriver, but you're definitely going to need one, you guys. The regular kit supplied one will not work. Okay, so here we have our completed assembly. This is really nice. It's heavy. It's just absolutely beautiful. And again, that's going to light up with a nice pulsing effect, I'm sure. All right, you guys. Well, I enjoyed that. Let's take a quick break, and I'll get set up for what we're going to do in number 4. I don't think there's much going on. I think it's something to do with the windshield and a couple of securing brackets that go on that, okay? So I'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with that. Okay, everybody, I took a little break, and we're back to do the next step here. We're looking at magazine number 4 this time. And wow, what a beautiful shot of the Batmobile from head on. Just an absolutely gorgeous picture. And this is actually the model. And you can really see the beautiful paint job that's on this. So this is going to be fantastic, you guys. So what we're looking at in this episode is another shot of Burgess Meredith, the iconic actor who played the Penguin and made that role famous. Probably the best Penguin ever. And you've got a bunch more stuff about the Batman TV series here. Some of the things that the Penguin did in the different episodes. Going back to some of the comic book artwork. Beautiful stuff. Look at 10 cents back in the day. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the part that we're working on in this one. Now, in some cases in your parts packs, you're not going to be doing too much. You're just going to be taking a look at some stuff and storing it for later. In this case, they've got this beautiful windshield, you guys. And I had a look at this, and wow, it's just gorgeous. Again, giving you the sense of scale. It's going to kind of lay down flat like that. I've got to wipe it off a little bit. But wow, the chrome plating around the edges is perfect. The glass is perfect. And what they want you to do in this little segment is attach these little brackets, and that later attaches to the body. Well, again, thinking ahead, you guys, I'm not going to put these on at this point because they could potentially get lost. I think I'm going to wait, keep these parts in the in its original container here, and when we get to the part where we actually are going to attach this onto the body of the car, we'll go ahead and work with those brackets at that time. That way we don't have to risk losing them. They just press on there. They're not held up with screws or anything, so I'm going to make that decision going forward. So let's then move right along to number 5 here, and we're actually doing some more assembly work. Oh, we've got the classic shot of the Joker here. This is just really, really cool, you guys. I love these magazines. Some artwork from the comics. Mark Hamill of Star Wars fame. Probably is the most popular animated Joker. The voice. Did an iconic job with the crazy laughter. Okay, so now we're taking a look at our parts now, and usually these parts came in this bag instead of coming in the blister pack. So we're gonna open this up, and we've got everything kind of molded, you know, separately here. So we're gonna break this down and get all of our parts ready to go. Get them emptied out. Got some screws. All right. So let's take a look at, first we verified that all of our parts were there. Now let's take a look at the assembly. Okay, so we're starting out with this little bracket right here, and you can see that it's got like an upward facing little tab on it, and we're going to be working with this starter backing plate. We're putting this in like that, and we're putting in 2 FP screws. All right. Thankfully, I'm moving away from those super tiny ones we were working with in the last segment. These are much easier to work with. Okay, let's get this started. Again, that tab needs to face up as shown in the picture. Kind of leave that one a little bit loose. Okay, we've completed that step. Now it looks like we've got some kind of an inner cover plate that goes on this. And let's see, we flip this around like that. Okay. It's confusing when you see a colored piece like that. It made it look like we were doing something different there, but nope, we're just putting this piece on. Now these are recessed pretty deep. Oh, they're actually calling for. Okay. Okay. Putting this piece in next, which is called the gearbox connector. And we're using this time the DM screws, which have a little bit of a washer edge on those. Very nice, goes in perfect. Here's this part completed on the outside. Okay, now we're going to be connecting this on top. And it drops in just like that. And we're using the CM screws. Okay, we got 3 of those. I think we'll be able to go to the narrower screwdriver on this one. And they drop down in there quite a ways. Oh, the big screwdriver still fits. I find this big one is the one we want to use in most cases. Alright, so here's our completed engine bell housing assembly. This will go on the back of the engine in between that and the transmission. Kind of move our screws out of the way here. And we've got some vinyl tubing that they want us to do something with. So we've got this. Alright everybody, so I've made my cuts. We've got 70 and 60 millimeter. And now we're going to attach these small little cable connectors onto the end. It's called for the instructions right here. Let's get this done really quick. Okay, we're putting this one on first, on the longer one. Just pushes right in there. Okay, and then we're connecting this onto the lower hole on the starter mount. Like this. Okay, then we flip to the next page. Okay, now we're putting this one on to the shorter version. Just like that. And connecting that onto the starter. Just presses in there nice and tight. Okay, they got it at a slight angle, so that's what I'm going to do. Facing backwards. Just like this, just like in the picture, you guys. Okay, so that concludes our update on our Batmobile. I'm expecting another shipment in here fairly shortly, and we'll come back to it. In the meantime, guys, I'm going to jump over to the Fanhome DeLorean and the GT40 and the Millennium Falcon. We're working on an update on those. So you can look forward to those coming out in the channel the next couple of days. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you guys are enjoying this that are building along. I encourage you to check out the link in the video if you want to subscribe and start this kit for yourself. I think you'll be more than happy that you did, you guys. All right, we'll see you next time, everybody. Until we do, take care and happy modeling out there, everybody.